let me also record.
Well,
thank you
for working so hard and doing it the second time.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be in this group, and thank you again for organizing this. Today, I will try to talk about the two chapters. I prepared some slides. So I want to share my screen with you. So you can all see my screen at the moment, right? Okay.
Can.
Okay. So the book is written by Stevens, and Write More, Publish More, Stress Less. And I was not aware of this book. So thank you again, Dr. Jürgen. You let us know about this book. And it has also a very interesting preface written by Professor Stephen Brookfield. So this is also makes the book more interesting. So it is a preface, right? The preface. Okay. So the first chapter that I will try to analyze in this 15 or 20 minutes is this chapter 6. Its title is Keep a Writing or Research Journal. Chapter 6 generally deals with this research question: why we keep a journal in our professional life when we are an academic writer. So this is the main question of this chapter, and then it defines what a journal is. A journal is an incredibly valuable tool that helps you be more organized, write more, create fodder for your writing and professional life, and in the long run you stress less. Also, it tells that keeping a professional journal helps us integrate the diverse aspects of our professional life. So this is not a journal that we are familiar with, like an academic journal. As far as I understood, it's like a diary. I understood it that way. I'm not sure if you also understood it that way. In the discussion part, we can discuss it. Here, the author makes a comparison of a waitress and academic, and he tells that to be successful as a waitress and an academic, they both require some similar skills. You have to be responsive within a very intensive environment that has many performance expectations. You have to make informed decisions, keep track of what you need to do next, all while maintaining a pleasant demeanor. This is an important comparison right in the beginning of the chapter that is provided to the readers. There is a book that has been cited, written by Rose, published in 2004. It says that waitressing does require stamina and memory, making it a physically and cognitively demanding job. In his book, The Mind at Work, Valuing the Intelligence of the American Worker, published in 2004, Rose celebrates the complex cognitive and interpersonal skills it takes to be a waitress, as well as several other seemingly menial jobs, such as being a plumber. Of course, to be a professor, you need many years of successful schooling and an advanced degree. This chapter aims to introduce us the idea of keeping a journal for our professional life as a way to grapple with the intensity, immediacy, and complexity of academic life that we deal with every day. So what is a journal in professional life? As I said, I understood it like an academic diary, maybe, or to make plans, not only a diary, of course. We can write our academic plans, to-do lists, etc. A typical professional journal is a collection of written entries that are kept in a bound blank book, a binder, or a virtual space that is centered around your professional life. A journal has certain characteristics, as is explained in the book. These characteristics distinguish it from other kinds of collections. Here is a list of characteristics of a journal according to Stevens and Cooper. It should be dated. It should be written or drawn. It should be informal, flexible, private, and archival. So these are the characteristics of a journal written in the explained in the book. There is a table in the book. It is table 6.1, and I put the image of the table in the presentation. I want to make it a little bit bigger. Handwritten versus digital journals. The comparison of key characteristics of digital versus handwritten journals. So one is in terms of being portable, private, flexible, accessible, and archival. The author compares digital versus digital journals with handwritten journals. And if we can see the details in this table. For example, in digital journal, there is no random access, but in handwritten journal, there's random access at any time. So I want to make the time don't take much time. So the other slide, the key benefits of keeping a journal, it provides us for important advantages. One of them is organization. The chronological order of the entries help us locate an event along a timeline. Creativity, a journal is flexible, so we can write, draw, doodle, or make lists in a journal. It makes us have less stress. So who is the audience of our journal? It's ourselves. So no one will critique our work in this journal. Reflection, there are no critics in your journal. A journal is about you, a point in time. It reflects your own work, as far as I understand. It says this. How to set up your journal and how to make your journal work for you. So there are two steps in keeping a journal. One is setting up, and the second step is making it work for ourselves. Setting up is the best way to approach setting up our journal is to think about how we are going to use it. Will we focus more on using it to track events or organize our professional life? Also, formatting pages, creating table of contents, and adding enhancements inside the front and back cover, also important while setting up the journal. The second step is making it work for us. The most important part of keeping a journal and using it consistently is to have it available all day and night. So we can, if we use a digital journal, we can keep it in our laptop or mobile device. So this is the second step. Here, and there's also some important points about the writing, generative writing activities, and reflecting on our career is another important point provided in this chapter. The journal can be a sketchbook for our ideas or for current or future writing projects. So after we complete the table of contents, we have a record of all our activities, like a to-do list, as I said. And so by looking at the table of contents from several journals over the years, we have the evidence of our various contributions. As a concluding remarks, the author summarizes the chapter, and it describes the benefits of keeping a journal, so different ways to set up our journal, and a variety of activities that can be done with this journal. So this was the chapter 6. And chapter right, as Jürgen mentioned, it's about the book reviews. Chapter 7, sorry. Writing a book review, first of all, the author tells the basic contribution of writing book reviews. It's a relatively fast way to get a line on our CV. Also, the author makes a differentiation between CV and resume. To be honest, I was not aware of this differentiation before. I thought that they mean the same. But a CV differs substantially from a resume because it is comprehensive and thus both longer and much more detailed. A CV is a record of all your education. So CV is more comprehensive than resume. It includes teaching grants and other stuff. What is a book review? So in this chapter, the author tells us that there are 5 basic questions that a book review should answer. Overall, what is this book about? Second, what are the specific contents of the chapter? Third, to whom would this book be useful? Fourth, what does it add to the literature on the topic? 5, what does the reader think about the book? So these 5 questions should be available in a good book review. Also, it defines us what a book review is in simple terms, maybe. Type of book reviews, sorry. There are 2 types of book reviews in this chapter. The first and most common type of review is where the author writes a 2 or 4 paragraph review in the book review section of a peer-reviewed journal. The book review section is usually found at the back of the journal after the full-length research articles. The second type of book reviews is longer, approaching article length. One format is an extended review where the reviewers provide paragraph-length details about each chapter. For example, Garcia and Laborda's work. Another common longer review is to compare 3 or 4 books on the same topic and critique the strengths and weaknesses of each other. So in this book, the author tells us that there are 2 main types of book reviews. One is short, the other is approaching the article length. Types of book reviews, writing book reviews. So here there are some terms like detective work, which the author uses several times in the book and in other chapters. Writing book reviews, one of the first steps in gaining a deeper understanding of writing different kinds of manuscripts, such as book reviews, conference proposals, journals, articles, is doing some detective work. So the detective work is not only available for, is not only valid for writing book reviews, but for all other academic manuscripts. Detective work means that scanning the external environment. One way to start is to look at your reference list for a manuscript or proposal that you are working on. Highlight the journals on that list. Those are the journals that are publishing work that is in your topic area. Go to the website for one of the journals. So this is the first step. Then selecting a journal is the second step. Analyzing structures of book reviews in these journals is also important. After identifying the book to review and after the journal accepts that book to review, the next step is the detective work. Find at least 2 reviews from recent issue of that specific journal in which you want to publish. So this is like a guide while writing book reviews. Detective work is one of the steps, and reflective work is the other step. It means that reflective work means that working from the external to the internal. And also there's expressive work, and as another step, it is the writing and submitting the review. Reflective work is looking at both reviews that you have analyzed for book reviews. Then you begin to compare the 2 and note any consistent patterns. Expressive work is the writing and submitting the review. This is the step of expressive work. So some important questions while you're writing this review. For example, what is this book about? As I mentioned earlier, what are the contents of the chapters and who is the audience for the book, or what is the contribution? And if you have any critics, what are they? So these are the basic steps of writing a book review. And my final slide is about the tackling challenges and the conclusion part. There are 4 major challenges in writing book reviews, and these are finding an appropriate journal, contacting the editor, settling on a book to review, understanding the specific book review expectations, submissions process. By doing the detective, reflective, and expressive work in this chapter, you can surmount these challenges according to the author, and this is a very insightful chapter. And as conclusion, yes, for many early professionals, book review is really important. So this chapter also described, this chapter described the stages of writing book reviews, what is it, and what we should do while writing it. So I completed my presentation, and I also want to stop the recording. Thank you again for this opportunity.